Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slamhub Wrestling. Myself Suprit, and this is your AEW Dynamite review for April 28, 2021. Joined by Abhishekh and AJ here. What's up, Abhi?
Absolutely fine, Suprit. How did you find this week's show?
I think this week's Dynamite, was better than decent because for the past few weeks, they have been giving decent shows, but Blood and Guts is no next week, so I think they want to, set the tone for Blood and Guts. I think so. I think it was more than decent. It was a good show.
Hmm.
What do you think about it?
Yes, I would agree absolutely. The past few weeks, they got the ratings, and the show was, thanda. And this week's show was, above average. Yes, absolutely. They uh, many people were saying they didn't get the ratings because they got competition because of the presidential address, but it is expected that next week uh, they will get a better rating. They have a stacked show. And also last week, our discussion with regards to the Blood and Guts show, you said that they only have one match booked, only Blood and Guts. So we discussed that how will they, book that match. The whole show, 2 hours, it is fucking, unnecessary. So now they have this show, it is a stacked show. You have Cody Rhodes booked, you have, Kenny Omega. I guess Kenny Omega is also booked next week, if I'm
Yep,
not wrong.
the
You
tag
know,
team match.
yes, yes, in tag team match. So it is a stacked show now. So and there are the doctor is also booked. So the fact is now it is a stacked show. With regards to now, previously you said that probably it was the only one match that was booked, and also I even got information with regards from Twitter that probably they were trying to book that show like the stuff that they did with regards to their first show, their debut show, that they would be hyping the matches, the match, the whole probably 1 hour, and they would be having video packages, and then they would have the match. But then also, how would you book 2 hours with only one match? That would have been very difficult, to keep the fans hooked with regards to 2 hours on your network. So I guess it was a good decision to have a stacked show, to have fans hooked. So I guess it was a good decision for having a stacked show for Blood and Guts.
And I think it was, a last minute decision from Tony Khan. I think he felt like having a
Yes,
one match event for the, Blood and Guts was not a good idea. So, why not add 2, 3 matches?
yes,
Make it, like how
yes,
NXT does with War Games. Do something like that.
yes, yes, and book it as a special that they have been doing in the past. Like winter is coming and there are other shows. Probably our discussion would have been the catalyst for this, this change. It is good.
They have to hit a big number next week in terms of ratings.
Uh, yes, and probably they will, with regards to how they have booked next week's show and how they have gotten the numbers the past few weeks. Only this week it was from the presidential address, and probably I can expect that presidential address is a thing that it draws the numbers. So probably if there isn't anything big booked, on the opposite side, then they can get a huge number next week for blood and guts.
And by the way, I want to get this out of the way. Did you hear about the speculation that AEW or NXT, they could be changing nights because of this whole deal with the National Hockey League, the NHL. There is some news regarding that. Where they are going. So as of now, they are going to, I think, the USA Network, and this could lead to NXT changing their nights, or maybe AEW changing their nights if NHL comes to Turner Broadcasting, something like that. So thoughts on this, Abhi?
Mm, whatever happens, they will have to roll with the punches, and probably if it comes to Warner Media or the Turner Network, they will have probably what will happen to the numbers. The past few weeks they've been hitting a million, uh, with no competition from NXT. So a new night, and will they be able to hit a million or not? It is big question mark. It is very difficult to get that said number. And would there be competition also if it is Friday night? I do not expect. Friday night is SmackDown, and SmackDown is hitting out of the park. I have been hearing a lot of chatter. I have not been watching, but I know that SmackDown on Fox is doing great. And if they go to Monday night, that is, the possibility of that is, minuscule. I expect that it is not, it is out of the question. But if it happens, it would be, it
They
would
could be
be
draw. They
fucking,
could
it
be
would be
draw.
war.
They could be draw.
Uh, uh, probably what is happening to Raw probably in the coming time, probably, but as of this point, probably not. But in the coming time, uh, you know what do we know? But yes, it would be a war. If they go to Monday, it would be a war. It would be a war, and it would be a clash. Every week we would be seeing stuff, probably what people saw in the 90s. It would be fucking war. But let's see what happens. Probably nothing happens. They would not be I mean AW would not be changing nights. But what happens, let's see what happens for AEW.
But anyways, man, let's get to this show. We had on this week's tournament, we had Hangman Page versus Brian Cage. We had Young Bucks versus the Sydal brothers. Penta Zero M versus Orange Cassidy, and we had the Blood and Guts parlay between Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. Kris Statlander versus Penelope Ford, and in the main event, we had a TNT Championship match between Darby Allin and number 10 of the Dark Order, and so much more. But before that, if you're new to this channel, then make sure to like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Check out our main roster talk from last week. We talked about the recent WWE releases, the Mickey James trash bag incident, and the ongoing situation with Daniel Bryan. Is he leaving WWE? So check that out. So before we get into Dynamite, so last week, we talked about AEW possibly touring again. And if you have noticed, so last week there was, I think, a UFC show and also a live concert in Jacksonville. But the thing is, they had a
Mhm.
full crowd. So in AEW's
Mm.
case, I think they're they want that, a full crowd, but they are going with a slow process, because reportedly they have 50% capacity for blood and guts. So I think we should be
Hmm.
surprised if AEW gets 100% capacity by August, that time.
Probably they can, if stuff like this happens in Jacksonville, Florida. We would not be, surprised if they get to 100% capacity by
So
August.
let's quickly get into the show. We had Hangman Page versus Brian Cage kicking off the show. So last week, we had Ricky Starks versus Hangman Page. Brian Cage also got involved in that situation. So they booked this match here for this week's Dynamite. So what happened was Hangman Page was making his entrance, but he gets attacked by Team Taz and Brian Cage. So we see a beatdown on Page, and here comes the Dark Order for the save. So Cage, sorry, Adam Page, he gets power bombed on the stage. So many, rhyming words here. I'm getting confused. So we get to the match. Cage is looking dominant. So Page did get some offense. He had a big moonsault on the outside. So at the end, Cage was hitting several power bombs, and from nowhere hits the drill claw, beats Hangman Page clean, and that was it.
Hangman Page.
So pretty shocking outcome, because AEW was building Hangman Page as the number one contender, and out of nowhere, Brian Cage beats him. So thoughts on this? Did you think beating Hangman Page at this point of the stage was hampered his momentum or something, or was it a right outcome?
Hampering the momentum, I don't think so. Probably they are, stretching that, long awaited, clash between Omega and Hangman Page, which is, absolutely fine. Because right now, if they have given, which they have, Brian Cage, who is a former Impact Wrestling World Champion, the victory, and is the current FTW heavyweight champion. Nobody gives a flying fuck about that, absolutely. So, giving him the win is great, as to, give him some legitimacy with regards to that people should care about him, first of all. And, it is also widening the cracks which have appeared within Team Taz. That is, that Ricky Starks wasn't able to do the job, while Brian Cage has. And Brian Cage is, by the looks of it, is wanting out of Team Taz. So, and even, later on the show, we saw that Christian Cage, both the cages are, taking out, on us, that they are wanting the people to know that Taz is not, up to, he's not up to any good, and you do not, want him, and you are better off without Taz. So they are wanting that, narrative to come into play, and also widening the cracks between the said people who are, in the said group, or are in the said faction. So it is good with regards to the storytelling, and also with regards to this, that Brian Cage has now beaten Hangman. So we can also expect that he would be now up the ranks. So probably he could also be, in line to challenge Kenny Omega, probably sometime in the future, probably. So it is good that they are building people. So it is great. And Now Kenny Omega is now Kenny Four Belts. So that's also cool with regards to that.
And by the way, they kind of given Brian Cage and also his team test faction some credibility after this,
Yes,
after beating Hangman Page.
yes. And that is good because previously, they were not given any, legitimacy, and they were only given interview time. And that too was only, circling around the cracks which have appeared within the said group. So probably now it is being given legitimacy that they can perform in the ring, and uh, even if it is only centering around Brian Cage, so that's also good that the guy is being built. The, with regards to how he was, even that we were expecting him to be a monster baby face or stuff like that. He is a former Impact World Champion, and he has been great, ever since he has been in the independent scene. So it is good that now they are building him. So it is good. So now we expect, storytelling and, in ring action. So it's good.
So we get to the super elite. So these guys were seen in a limousine. So Callis, so he calls, Omega the new Impact World Champion. So they were kind of celebrating here. So they say that they are not afraid of John Moxley and Eddie Kingston until, they hear the sound of a horn and everyone loses the shit. So Michael Nakazawa, so he was behind the wheel. So Omega, so he was issuing a challenge for Eddie Kingston, says he'll have to face Nakazawa tonight. So we'll get to that when we uh we'll get to that before we cover this match here. That was the Young Bucks. So they were facing the Snyder brothers here. So I think this was eliminator type of match. If the Sydal brothers wins, they get a tag title shot. Really good match here. The Bucks won here with heel tactics. So thoughts on this one?
I thought that it was an entertaining bout, and also, the Young Bucks, they portrayed themselves better this week, in my opinion. Probably in the past few weeks, they, lacked the energy, or I should say, they lacked the motivation. Probably they weren't looking as good. Probably not with regards to the attire or anything, but probably what they were doing in the ring. It looked, lackluster, but this week they looked good. They looked great, and even in the ring, they looked good as they should. And with regards to their heel tactics, they have adopted the said mantra that they wouldn't be you know doing any flips and flams, because that is babyface. That is babyface tactics. So now they would tone that down, and now they would be ground and pound strictly. And that is good because flips get crowd reactions, and you do not want that as a heel. You do not want that as a villain. So it is good, and that is effective, and probably it would go good in the long run. And the stuff with regards to their attire being you know being out of this world, or or being costly or stuff like that, and their entrances with the streamers being an homage to their run in the independent scene. That's good. That's great. And the personal photographer, it's great. It's great, and it is a part of their character. And it is being acknowledged by the commentators too. So that is great that it is coming to us too, that we are also acknowledging the said things, that there are different things that have changed with regards to them. So it is great. And with regards to this match uh, manifested from the interaction between the two teams on WrestleMania weekend, the live event, the house always wins, when Matt and Mike Sydal were on the winning side with Death Triangle against the Elite. And there was a thing which happened in this match, that was that Don Callis, being from ECW and being one of the best on the microphone, he, it showed that when he called Excalibur a young bucks jock sniffer, you know, it was on fight. It wasn't on TNT. It got on fight. So then what happened was there was a long silence, and they cut the feed. So that was something, so fucking that how this shit happens. So that is out of this world. So, but then when they came back, so it was little awkward. So, but still, they went along, and they completed the match. So great, great stuff with regards to this.
And by the way, I thought Matt Sydal was the MVP of this match because everything this guy does is crisp, you can say.
Yes, it is great. And he has been a great worker. He has been on Impact Wrestling. He has been on WWE. So he's great in his own right. And also the commentators also said with regards to the Sydal brothers that they have been, yoga practitioners. So that is something that we got with regards to their characters, that there is now something that we can be invested with regards to the Sydal brothers. Yes, we didn't get something with regards to what they did in the past, that the third eye shit, but none of that shit, that they were crisp in the ring, and both the teams were good in this match. So it was an entertaining bout, absolutely. And in the end, the Young Bucks didn't win from their, usual shtick, that is the Meltzer driver. Absolutely not. They won it with the, textbook low
BT
blow.
trigger.
So that is, oh, sorry. First it was the low blow, and that then
Yes.
it was the BTE trigger. Yes. So it is that, it is going to their character, that they are not winning, from the babyface shit. There is something from, being heels or being villains, that is, you know uh, being straight up with their character, that it is not, going to this side, that they are being heels, and it is being throughout the stuff, that when they are in the ring, and then when they are, backstage. So it is being consistent with your character, that not pandering to the crowd, not doing the flips, and not getting the said reaction, not from the people in the audience, and not even from the people who are, watching at home. So it is great that they are, committing to the character which they have been given, and it is great. So kudos to them, absolutely.
So yeah, after the Bucks beat the Sydal brothers, after the BT trigger and all, we had a post-match segment. We had Brandon Cutler coming out, getting the Bucks some ice and a cold spray, doing all the young boy duties. So here comes SCU. So they talk about the Bucks' recent attitude change and the questionable wardrobe change. You know, so they talk about their undefeated streak recently and how they promise themselves if they lose another match, they are done as a tag team. So SCU then challenge the Bucks for a title shot, and that's it. And they also have a four-way tag match. Winner gets a title shot.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
SCU most likely are winning this, right?
Yes, I would be. Yes, I am expecting them to win too. If they do not win, then what was the point of the promo?
They have to win, or if they could they have just went into the direction of just declaring SCU as number one contenders instead of having this match.
They could have, but yes, they are doing this. Then it is, you know, then it is good that probably they are, proving themselves in a way that yes, they are, ready and cunning for the tag titles. That there are people on the internet that can question the ranking system that is obviously flawed, or they can also question the ability of Christopher Daniels, because everybody remembers the botched Asai moonsault on the outside, which happened. Probably it was against, I guess, the Lucha Bros, or probably it was
Penta,
against
Penta.
Pentagon Junior.
Yep.
Yes, Pentagon Junior. So everybody remembers that. So probably Christopher Daniels has to go the extra way, extra mile. Beg your pardon. He has to go the extra mile to prove himself that he still has what it takes, and he deserves this opportunity, even when he is ranked number one with Frankie Kazarian. Frankie Kazarian has proved himself. He has also proved himself against Christian Cage. So it is now, Daniels' turn to prove himself in a way.
So we get to a promo package for Jade Cargill. She says she doesn't want to sign with any manager right now because all of them want a certain percentage of her pay. So she calls herself the hottest free agent of AEW, and that's it. So I think AEW is destined to get a manager for Jade Cargill, I think.
Yes. Let's see who is our manager.
Who did you pitch last week to be your manager?
I pitched Jazz.
She is now in Impact
She is
Wrestling right
still
now.
currently, but I guess she has retired from Impact Wrestling, if I'm not wrong.
But still, I think she's managing the Knockouts Tag Team Champions, I guess. Last what I saw.
All right, but can she not manage Jade Cargill?
Maybe. Maybe. Let's see where it goes. Let's get to Penta L0M versus Orange Cassidy. I thought it was, very
Hmm.
fun match. We had some comedic elements, and the match was also competitive. A typical, Orange Cassidy type of match. What do you think about it?
I also thought that it was an entertaining match. Pentagon dominated throughout the commercial break, and he targeted the knees, both the knees of Cassidy, not one, which is the stuff which probably many people do. He was doing to both the knees. His strategy was, as the commentators also said, was to neutralize the finisher, that is the orange punch. And Cassidy, he sold it at first, but not as much as other people do. Other old school who are to their roots, they do. He didn't do it as much. But in the end, he still did the orange punch. He did it with the fucking microphone, and that did it for him. And it also encompassed the story, that how it started last week, that you can say that karma is probably that what 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 you throw out, it comes back around. That what Pentagon and Alex did last week, it came back to bite them. So probably that is what happened with regards to Orange Cassidy winning in this bout.
And one thing I want to say about Orange Cassidy, I think I said it to you before. This guy, needs a live crowd. I think there is something
Mm.
missing about him during this pandemic era shows.
I would agree absolutely. It is that, yes. It is his whole presentation that you are saying, that with the crowd, he goes to another level. Absolutely, I would agree. I would agree.
Let's get to some highlights there. We got to the end and we see Alex Abraham is again trying to getting involved just like he did last week. So we had Trent here, so he passes a mic to Orange Cassidy, orange mic to Pentagon, and that was it. Orange Cassidy won the match here, and there we go. I think everything is building to that best friends was a death triangle match.
Hmm.
Let's
It
quickly get
seems so.
let's quickly get into blood and guts, the parlay between Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. And we discussed, how they changed the formula of blood and guts, have not just being a one match event. So so we had Shivani, so he was in the ring. We had both the teams in the ring. So he was going through the rules of this blood and guts match. It's basically, your typical war games match, nothing different here. So Shivani, so after that, Shivani was going to throw in a coin toss to just decide who gets the team advantage for blood and guts. So Sean Spears, he wasn't interested and said the Pinnacle want to get the advantage, because they were lured into this match in the first place. So after that, we get some intense promo from all the guys here. So Guevara was saying Sean Spears has been a failure everywhere. We had, FTR. So they told Santana and Otis to tell their kids that they won't be coming back home. And we also had Jericho. He said that there was a time when Jake Hager saved him from an assassination in Abu Dhabi in 2012 or something. This took me off guard at one point. Basically, this entire promo battle was to done to, sell Blood and Guts match. So what you think about this segment?
I thought that it was fantastic, and uh, a great. It was a great, promo by. I would like to say that all the guys, who were given the time to sell this match, they did a phenomenal job at it. And you know I want you know the Pinnacle to win next week, because they are the guys who you know that they are the new flavor of the month at this point. But I want them to last long in this company, just like the Inner Circle have. And I expect them to have some legit, because till now they I do not, you know, I have not seen stuff that would, give me or even any of the people who would be watching right now stuff that would make you invested in them as a top tier faction. Because even with the inner circle, that whatever the inner circle is, that because if you even look at the entrances of both the factions, inner circle, toppled them, you know and the beat down which happened when the inner circle came back, the only stuff that I can remember with regards to the Pinnacle was the formation of the Pinnacle. That was the only thing that they have done. After that, the inner circle have dominated them in some shape or form, and they have toppled them in some shape or form. And even when they are, quote unquote, baby faces. So yes, it is a little, you know, iffy, because the, traditional shit says that, the heels are, always, always have the upper hand with regards to the feud. And at the end, when the feud is about to end, the baby faces topple them, and then it's how it ends. So next, when they are having this match, that is next week, I want the Pinnacle to win, and this feud would continue. Then I would expect that this feud would, segregate into different matches. That FTR versus LAX, Sammy Guevara versus Sean Spears, Chris Jericho versus MJF,
Again,
and J. Yes, you were saying?
yeah, MJF versus Jericho has happened. So is there a point to do it again?
Yes, why not? If shit happens in this match, that if it and it requires another match, then why not? Because if the Pinnacle wins this match, Jericho would want revenge, or he would want to get one up on MJF. So why wouldn't he want another match? And why wouldn't the people want to see Jericho, beat MJF? So why the fuck not? And you know what transpires in this match, that would give us, the said shit that we, the Pinnacle wins this match, and we should want to watch the, different matches which happen down the road, if they are going that way. Because the TV time is also a big, problem with regards to their TV product, that there is only one show at this point. So let's see. But I would want the Pinnacle to win, because I want them to get legitimacy. And you know and they are great workers, and a win for them would, build them for the future too, and that would be great.
We
What is
get
your
to,
opinion with regards to this?
yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think they did the job. I think I saw a tweet from Bolire, so he also liked it that they did a great job. Selling the whole blood and guts concept, the whole match. So I agree with you. I agree with his opinion too, and I also liked the whole segment that they did here. And after all this, blood and guts has to deliver, because the last time they did another gimmick type of match, at Revolution, the whole. exploding barbed wire death match. I think after that, that has left a bad taste, in every wrestling fan right now. So AEW
Mhm.
has to hit the, like the American folks say, has to hit the home run here.
Home run.
Yes, they
Hmm.
have to hit the home run, or I don't know what they else they can do here.
Hmm. I would agree. Absolutely.
Shall we get to the next part here? This was a impromptu match that they promised. It was Eddie Kingston and Michael Nakazawa.
Hmm.
So we had Nakazawa, he was in the ring, sitting in the ring. So here comes Kingston. So he said that he doesn't want this sports entertainment bullshit here. He wants Kenny Omega. So he calls out Omega, and so Omega finally walks out. Also, along with him is Don Callis. So Omega tells Kingston that he has to go through Nakazawa first. So Nakazawa tried to attack Kingston, but he gets knocked out with a back fist from Kingston. So Kingston was about to crush Nakazawa's leg between a steel chair, but Omega, he couldn't care less. So from the back, here comes John Moxley, attacks Kenny Omega, and both Kingston and Moxley. So they had him cornered, and they were about to do the same thing, wrap the chair around Omega's leg and crush him. So Don Callis, he had no option here. He takes the mic and tells Kingston that he can get anything he wants. So Kingston demanded that he wants Omega and Nakazawa in a tag team match next week, and that's it. Do you think he should he really needed to get a tag team match, or should have got a title shot instead? Is this tag team match
Hmm.
that important to him, or is it just to bridge the gap, like you say, or just to fill TV time?
Uh, the thing is that if he would have asked for a title shot, no, the thing is he also has his partner, John Moxley. What would his reaction be with regards to that? Would he have been open to that, or would have he would have taken offense for to that? I do not know with regards to that. And who is at this point, uh, you know, in line first to challenge for the AEW World Championship? We
That's
don't know.
really
And
that's really unclear right now after what they after
mm,
the Brian Cage Hangman Page match. That it's even more unclear what's gonna happen on Double or Nothing.
so everything is up in the air at this point. So what you know Eddie Kingston did was in friendship that John Moxley also wants to get his hands on Kenny Omega. He also wants to get his hands on Kenny Omega. So, what is the best case scenario for that? Book a tag team match. So, that's what he did. He booked a tag team match against Kenny Omega and Michael Nakazawa, that both of them can get their hands on, the world champion. So, that's what I can surmise that from what happened at this point. And I would agree that if he had no allegiances with John Moxley, and he would have been selfish enough, so probably he would have asked for a world title shot, absolutely. And if there would have been no ranking system, so probably it would have been a lot easier to get a title shot, absolutely. So that is what would have makes made sense at this point. So there's that.
So we had the commentators run through the entire card for Blood and Guts, And also, they announced a big match in 2 weeks. So, John Moxley will be defending the IWGP United States Championship against, the New Japan legend Yuji Nagata himself. Should be a good match because, Yuji Nagata is 53, but the man can still go. This guy could literally make Edge look like Goldberg. He's that good. And there is
Uh,
also some
I
story to this entire match. We'll get to that when we cover Yuji Nagata versus John Moxley.
Mhm. It's
But
great. I'm also
yeah,
looking forward to watch Yuji Nagata for the first time because I have read, the tweets that it would be a very hard hitting bout, and I am all for it. Absolutely, I am looking forward to watch this match. Absolutely, and I have wanted to watch this kind of this version of John Moxley in Dynamite, that the version that I saw in New Japan. So it it would be great to watch uh, that version in Dynamite.
you wanted pure wrestling in AEW. There you go, folks.
And
So
I
yeah,
I wanted to talk about last week that you said something about the 6-man title, the trios title. So uh, the matches and the things which uh, were seen or were evident this week. So I am seeing that they could possibly, if they are open for it and the said titles are are open for being floated around the promotions, Impact or AEW, so they can introduce the said titles, because I saw the 3-man teams with with the likes of they can get a 3-man team from Pinnacle, they can get a 3-man team from Inner Circle, they have the you know the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega, and they have the Factory, and they booked the Nightmare family, that was Billy Gunn and Shorty Lee and Dustin Rhodes, and the Factory had QT Marshall, Comarato, and Aaron Solo, and they can also book Team Taz, 3 people with the likes of uh, Powerhouse Hobbs, or uh, the other 2 people, Starks, and Brian Cage. Brian Cage is out of the said group probably, and probably right now there was some conspiracy. Uh, and that probably is a good term with regards to that. That John Moxley he is forming a group, and probably to go up against Kenny Omega. That was that he has gone to GCW to fight against Nick Cage, uh, and probably he can we can expect probably he can team up against the likes of Sammy Callahan from Impact Wrestling, and they can form a group, uh, Switchblade Conspiracy, to go up against the Super Elite, and they can go up for the titles. So there was a conspiracy probably with regards to that. So I don't know that how much stock we can put with regards to that, but I don't know if anything with regards to that can happen or not. So have you heard anything with regards to that?
I think your attention came across that because of the fantasy booking that has been going on social media.
Probably, and even this week, on Impact Wrestling, there was a beatdown at the end. The Good Brothers and Kenny Omega beat down on Eddie Edwards and Sammy Callahan. And for Under Siege, they have booked a match that Eddie Edwards and Finn Juice are going against Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. So that leaves out Sammy Callahan. So what is the possibility of Sammy Callahan teaming up with the likes of John Moxley and Eddie Kingston?
They could do that.
They could do that.
Forbidden door, forbidden door.
Yes, absolutely.
So
And probably someone said that they could, debut him next week at Blood and Guts. I don't
maybe
know.
let's see. Let's see. I
Let's
think
see.
Blood and Guts is
Let's see.
shaping to be a big dynamite type of show.
Yes.
Let's get to Penelope Ford versus Kris Statlander. Can we get some backstory on this match?
Statlander, returned at Arcade Anarchy. And right now, Miro is cutting promos backstage from the last few weeks. And he says that he wants titles, championships, and he is pissed off at, Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford for some reason. Probably he has heard the voices on social media that we wanted him to be a powerhouse, we wanted him to be a fucking heel, we wanted him to be unstoppable, and probably he has heard us on social media. So now he has woken up, he has awakened, and now he is thinking that he doesn't give a fuck about video games, and now he wants championships. So he has arrived, it seems.
So we'll get to that, but let's talk some highlights here. So at the end, we saw Kip Sabian. He was trying to cost Statlander this match, but here comes Orange Cassidy. He was there to stop him. So Ford, she was going for a handspring here. So Statlander catches Ford, and it's her finisher, the Big Bang Theory for the win. And you talked about Miro here. So later on, we did see Miro. So Kip Sabian, he wanted to visit Miro in his locker room. So he enters the locker room. So Miro is so mad that he hasn't heard from Sabian. So he decides to beat him up all around the locker room and even slams his arm through a door or something. That's the official breakup of this team. And I think, Sabian does get one shot at Miro before the finally end this. This has to,
Yes.
end through a match, not a backstage segment.
Yes, absolutely. And they would it also gives them time to stretch it out, that what are they expecting Miro to do first. They would be pushing him for a title, that, and what are they expecting? Probably they would push him for the TNT championship. That has just hit me probably. And if they are thinking about that, then probably they are stretching it that Miro would be first in line to get the TNT championship. So first he would go through Kip Sabian, and then he would be, you know, going for the TNT championship, and he would handily win it. Absolutely, he would not be, losing to Darby Allin.
Let's see where all this stuff goes. But let's get to the Nightmare family versus the Factory here. And I think the Factory one, we also saw the involvement of Anthony Ogogo again. I think he was hitting literally everybody there with the gut shot. I think Lee Johnson got one, and also Billy Gunn got one as well. And I think Billy Gunn was selling his ribs from, I think, last week's gut shot. I think so. There you go. The
Yes,
Factory would win this match here, and there was, a little post-match segment with the Gun Club trying to beat up the Factory members, while QT Marshall was escaping, and he did while before this match, the Factory did come made their entrance through Cody's bus, or I like to call it the Nightmare Express, something like that. So after when the beatdown was going on inside the ring, so QT Marshall, tried to escape, tried to enter the bus, but there was Cody, trying to stop him, and we saw a brawl there. So both men were fighting out on top of the bus, and we also saw referee Aubrey Edwards there for some reason. So after all this, so they have booked Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall. I think to save everyone in this situation, I think they have to, get QT Marshall the win here. If Cody Rhodes
uh,
wins, that's not just the burial of QT Marshall, but it's also the burial of his faction as well.
yes. But how would they book it? That would be interesting. Probably again the involvement of Anthony Ogogo would probably be there if they are not barred from ringside at this point. So let's see. QT, yes, I would agree that they should win this match, or probably if they are, booking Cody to win this match, then it should not be such a, clean cut and, blatant victory, so that it, as you said, it buries the said faction, the Factory. Then it should be, a subtle victory, probably via roll up, or probably via something, probably, you know uh, there is an involvement of a certain member of the Nightmare, family member, probably Billy Gunn or Dustin Rhodes, someone, someone hits, the cowboy bell, something like that, and Cody gets the victory, so that it extends the said feud, and it is not a clean victory. So then they can, go forward with Cody winning the said match, and also it would not, you know cast them as a, heel, because they got, one back on the Factory. They didn't, get one up, they got one back on the Factory. So they can book Cody to win if they want in that fashion. Yes, a clean cut, blatant victory, please do not, or else, as you said, it would bury the Factory. As of right now, they are booking them well. Aaron Solo looked good as well this week, and they applied the isolation technique on Dustin Rhodes. Commentators sold Aaron Solo as a veteran. I have not seen him
In the
wrestle
Indies,
in the past. Yes, in the Indies he has, so it is good, because his his basics were solid, which we saw with the likes of his pinfall attempts, and his movement in the ring was solid. And the with regards to the factory factions entrance to that also made us invested in them at the initial point of the match, that yes, we should care about them with regards to what is happening with regards to them. So it is good. And Anthony Ogogo's character, uh, we discussed it on the on their debut, that Anthony Ogogo is a star. They can build him up, and they can build him up like a star, and they are doing exactly that. And that is a great uh, that is a great approach to that. They are doing it with regards to that he is an Olympic boxer, and his his boxing stuff, that it it hurts. It hurts when he hits you. And Billy Gunn with his taped ribs, as you said, he was selling the said injury. So that is absolutely great with regards to this faction. And you are getting the people invested in the factory, and you are doing a good job at this point, and it is good.
And you mentioned Dustin Rhodes, you mentioned the cowbell or the bull rope. So we also saw that. Saw the involvement of the bull rope here. I think this week, I think it was Nick Comorado who hit the bull rope, the cowbell, I should say,
Hmm.
on Dustin Rhodes. So we talked about them doing a possible bull rope type of match. If it's not QT Marshall versus Dustin Rhodes, I think they could do Dustin Rhodes versus Nick Comorado.
They can they can but we have to wait and see that what they are planning. Probably it is faction versus faction, but we have to wait and see that what are they thinking about with regards to it. Probably there was a match which happened in the past. They just booked it a week prior, and they booked it next week. It was something along the lines of, you know I'm not, you know it was something which was special with regards to Dustin Rhodes and Dusty Rhodes. They booked it. It was a gimmick match, and it was on Dynamite. I'm not,
They faced, I think, Butcher and Blade, a bunkhouse match or something.
probably yes. What was?
A
Yes,
bunkhouse
it was
match.
that. Yes, bunkhouse match. Absolutely, yes, yes. So they could have booked that, with the story, and weeks down the line. They just booked it, a week prior, and there was no, story or build with regards to that. They could have done a lot better with regards to that match. If they are booking something across along those lines, so let's wait and see what they are doing.
Shall we get to the main event?
Yes.
So it was for the TNT Championship, Darby Allin versus number 10, Preston Vance. So we had a video package for number 10 saying how this match is very important to him, and they also talked about the history between him and Brody Lee, and how winning the TNT Championship will be symbolic, something like that. So I think the match was very solid. I think this was the best I think I've seen of Preston Vance in AEW. What do you think about this match?
So I would agree absolutely. Preston Vance looked great in this match, and it was probably his best outing. And yes, it was his Darby Allin's fifth title defense and ninth in totality. And we also saw, what was the clash of styles between the two, competitors. That 10 had the strength advantage, and Darby Allin was just being ragdolled here and there, which we have seen in a few of the bouts in the past, that he was being ragdolled here and there. And probably someone online, I read a tweet that it was probably one of the weakest outings of Darby Allin. uh, would you agree on that, or you have a different opinion with regards to that?
I think comparing to matches like with the likes of Cody Rhodes or Jungle Boy or someone like that, I think this match was not on that level, but this was a solid match nonetheless, in my opinion.
No, how he looked, how he was, getting beaten. So, what was he, weak, or was he, up to par as he has been in the past? So, or he looked the weakest this week. So, more times he was on his back. That's what you know some people were saying online. And it uh, Preston Vance, his record has been 13 and 1 in 2021. And JR also acknowledged in some form what we have discussed, or you can say our conspiracy theory, probably. Shout out to you, Chris Jericho. uh, you know Darby can lose his title in a way similar to that of Cody Rhodes. you know that weeks of title defenses caught up to the guy. And you know last week I said that probably Tony Khan is thinking that he could be booking the likes of Ethan Page or Scorpio Sky to win probably the TNT championship. But probably, as of this point, I'm probably thinking that it could be, Miro, probably. It seems that way, that probably Miro could be the one who would dethrone, Darby Allin.
My my money is on Lance Archer.
Lance Archer. Let's see.
But let's
And yes.
yeah, you were saying.
And other than that, with regards to this match, as you said, that 10 was solid with regards to his wrestling. We saw his utter domination in this match, and Darby Allin has been great with regards to his selling. So he was great in this match too. And it was, you can say, a similar match structure, probably. It As we have seen in the past, when he has faced opponents who have had a substantial strength advantage over him. So it was similar with regards to that him being ranked all here and there. And at one point, then when we saw Ethan Page interfering, And I thought that he is losing. Darby Allin is losing. It hit at that point, and you know, but you know,
You you
it was
know
not this week.
you know when I thought Darby was going to lose, when 10 had him in the full Nelson and Darby Allen just passed out for a second.
Oh,
That was I think that was the
yes, that.
defining moment of that match.
Hmm.
And at the last second, Darby Allin pulled out a upset, like you can say, another roll up win. I think this has been the theme for the Darby Allin matches as of recently. I think he also did it with Jungle Boy. He also did it with Brian Cage, I guess, winning with roll ups or
Hmm.
crucifix.
Yes,
I think he rarely
yes.
uses the coffin drop now.
No, it is. It is to keep the other, you know, his opponent strong. So it's great with regards to that.
So, can you talk us about what happened post match? The beatdown on Sting and Darby Allin.
You know, post match, there was a thing with regards to Darby Allin that he kicked, at one point he kicked 10 in the face square, and he ripped up his mask. So you can say doing anything to avoid the L, and doing anything to win. So I think that is amazing, that it's great that there are shades of gray, that he is not pure white babyface. We have talked about this in the past too, that it also resonates with his character, Darby Allin, that the shit that he does in the ring too, that also is in it is in consistency, that what he does. So it is great with regards to that. And that yes, he did the Brody Lee homage post match. Cool stuff nonetheless. But yes, it is giving us shades of gray with regards to Darby Allin. And probably you know when there may come a time that when fans would turn on him, or a section of fans turn on him, but people or the officials or the booker would not give a flying fuck about that, because he is not clean cut baby face, like the turn Chris Jericho did, when now Chris Inner Circle has turned babyface. Chris Jericho has been cutting pure white babyface promos, not with Darby Allin. Darby Allin is doing whatever it takes, you know, to win this match. And the stuff which you asked with regards to the post match, that I can say that it was the first time that we saw the viciousness or the sadistic nature of Ethan Page and Scorpio
Sky.
Sky for the first time. Yes, Scorpio Sky first time, that the chop block and the heel hook on Sting, and making Darby Allin watch. So great stuff. Previously we have seen Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky being chicken shit, chicken shit heels, and watching from the rafters, and you know being being on the periphery, and watching, and seeing an opportunity, and grabbing it, that they are gunning for the TNT championship or they are looking for something else, or they are wanting to make a name for themselves. Whatever their agenda is, we don't know at this point. But whatever the fuck they were thinking about, they pounced on this week. They pounced on Sting, and they pounced on Darby Allin, because Darby Allin was exhausted. He was fucking out after his match, and they fucking pounced on both of them. So, you know top notch shit. Absolutely. And Archer and 10, fucking assholes. They came to the aid of them a little too late, probably. And probably next week, Sting and Darby Allin would be pissed at Archer and 10, that where the fuck were you? That, why did came to our aid this late? So there could be stuff happening with regards to those four people, and the people who stir the pot were, All Ego, Ethan Page, and Scorpio Sky.
And about
Okay.
the whole Dark Order situation, I think I forgot it. The story of the Darby and versus 10 match was, Brody and the Dark Order. And, that Darby Allin actually challenged the members of the Dark Order, to honor Brody's legacy or something. And I think this should be the end of the Dark Order Darby Allin situation, 10 was, Brody's guy at one point. So that's the end of the story. I think, and we don't need more Darby Allin and Dark Order members matches. I think that's the end of it.
Probably. But if this what happened at the end, that Archer and 10 came to the aid a little too late, and Sting and Darby Allin are pissed at Archer and 10, so probably they could stretch that story. So we have to wait and see with regards to that. And the people who would be watching from the sidelines are Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. They would be enjoying what they fucking manifested.
Let's see where all
Geniuses.
this goes.
Yes.
So, Abby, before we leave, where can these guys find you?
Guys, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Abhimaniac, and I'm currently working with an independent wrestling promotion in India called Wrestle Square. And you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Abhimaniac.
You can find Slamhub Wrestling on Twitter at SlamHubW, Instagram at SlamHub Wrestling. Our podcast and reviews are also available in audio versions on Anchor and Spotify as well. And this was the AEW Dynamite review, and we'll see you guys next time.